Let me tell you about an organization that needs your help year-round. Jeremiah Program is breaking the cycle of poverty 2 generations at a time by empowering single moms to pursue college degrees while their children receive high-quality early education. And your gift provides critical support that makes success possible. So go on over to jeremiahprogram.org/Austin to give today and learn how you can be part of the movement to disrupt generational poverty. Again, that's jeremiahprogram.org/Austin. Today on CityCast Austin, y'all, Gen Z is just built different. Instead of all-night warehouse parties, they're raving at 10 a.m. in coffee shops. They go hard for advocacy and community, but they struggle making friends. And unlike me at their age, a lot of them don't drink. So what is going on with Austin's Gen Zers? It's Wednesday, February 11th. I'm Nikki Devon, and this is what Austin's talking about. Hello, I am here today with Mayher Yeda, fact checker who also writes for Texas Monthly. What's up, Mayher?
Hi.
Thank you for being here and chat with me today. I'm so excited.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So, okay, we're going to dive in. Austin is a hotspot for Gen Zers, ranking 8th in the U.S. in a recent report with about 75,000 or so of them in town. Why do you think 20 to 24-year-olds love Austin so much?
Well, because there are so many of us, I feel like there's just always so much to do and so many activities that I feel like Gen Z loves, like shopping and pop-ups and obviously Austin is outdoors and it's sunny. So lots of run clubs, lots of raves, lots of supper clubs, and just very like Gen Z oriented programming.
Now, I have to say, this is going to make me sound super old, but that is all things that I also love. And when you start talking about raves, I'm like, ooh, back in the day, we used to go to warehouse and put pacifiers in our mouths. Like, yeah. And I know it's a little bit different now, but I'm loving this kind of circular history kind of thing. I'm into it. So before we get into your recent reporting on Gen Z and their early morning DJ parties at coffee shops, what should people know about Gen Zers in Austin in order to understand that trend better?
I think there's a lot of components. First, I don't want to lump everyone as liking the same things, but I will say like most of our experiences were definitely shaped by the pandemic and going to school during the pandemic and sort of the distinct lack of connection during that time. So I think that for many people, there is that shared sense of like wanting community and trying to seek it out in particular spaces. And specifically, again, with Austin being so outdoorsy, maybe more health oriented, I feel like that has also shaped sort of the activities that people gravitate towards here more. That's not to say that there are Gen Zs who love, staying in and going to the movies, but I feel like that explains why there's such a boom in that kind of like community or that kind of like event.
So like kind of looking for a low stakes way to connect, right? I keep forgetting that Gen Z was like in school during the pandemic because I was so wrapped up in my own shit, that I forget, oh man, there's a whole host of people that had to figure out how to like do regular everyday growing up stuff. And during a critical time, kind of, right? Like during a critical time, when I think about the kids that like had their senior year during the pandemic, like can't go through all the stuff that you can't do all of the things that you normally get to do during your senior year. So I totally understand that looking for connection, but in kind of like, I'm still not real cool with people yet. Kind of like low stakes. Yeah, that makes sense. So, okay. Now we've been hearing about these morning DJ sets in coffee shops in Austin for months now. And I just recently went to New Orleans and they're having them in New Orleans as well. So how did they start here?
I think it was inspired by some of the movements in other cities. There is like a huge movement worldwide, even like cities like London and Singapore are also having them. And obviously, cities like New York and LA. And so I think people saw that and were like, we actually have an abundance of pretty big coffee shops in Austin, ones that seem like they'd be suitable for hosting large groups. And so a lot of these event creators just saw that trend and wanted to capitalize on it here.
A few months ago, a friend of the pod, Selena, invited us to an early morning. It was like 10 a.m. on Fridays. Every Friday at Pershing, she was having just like a DJ set, and everybody was just quietly doing their work while listening to a DJ set, which doesn't sound like the same thing as like a rave. When I think of a rave, I think of, and I know that these types of raves still happens, just like huge warehouse, pulsing music, laser shows, just like, EDM dropping the beat, whole that's where my brain goes. Like everybody's in a costume, everybody's on some sort of drugs, that's where my brain goes to for a rave. So I'm fascinated by this. So you went to a few while reporting your story. I want to know what you saw. Were you surprised by anything? What is the vibe like? I'm so curious.
I think the vibe is very distinct in the beginning versus the end. I feel like in the beginning, before the crowd is really bumping, is more awkward. People are starting to find their groove. It's 10 in the morning. It's maybe a little too early to be so energetic. And so you sort of have the formation of the crowd. Maybe it's a good time for like groups of people to come in and just
Yeah.
first enjoy their coffee or their beverage before getting really into the music.
Mhm.
And then as time goes on, I think, the crowd starts to pick up, people start to dance a little more. It's less intimidating than, when it's a little bit too bare and you're like very
Yeah.
aware of your body because you don't have the benefit of the darkness. Like you are
Exactly.
watching everyone in
You are
daylight.
being perceived.
You are being maybe too much perceived. And so I think when the crowd starts to pick up, that's kind of when it feels a little bit like, yeah, this is the event. And I feel like I was most surprised to see like kids and dogs, especially in
Mm,
Austin. I feel like that's very on brand. But
yeah.
yeah, like parents will bring like kids. It's like very family friendly.
It makes so much sense too, because you have, what I mean, like to have parents and kids to be like, you know what, let's get some of these zoomies out for the pet and the kiddo. I love that. So now I'm picturing middle school dance, right? Like like the gym is open, everybody's kind of standing on the wall waiting for the first person to make the move and start dancing. Is it kind of like that? It's like, and then as soon as like more people get brave, then it hits its stride. Is that true?
Yeah, I also say like people need time to warm up. Like
Yeah.
you kind of also have your drink. You're like doing the little shimmy before you can really like get into it.
Little shimmy. Yeah.
But like not. Yeah, I definitely think it's kind of hard because you just don't have the benefit of the darkness.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I also think it's kind of, for me, also a little difficult. I mean, this is to no one's fault, but like people who walk in with like phones and like wanting to take videos and pictures, I totally get that. But like it does make me more aware of like, oh, am I going to be in that? And I don't want to be.
Exactly. It adds to the level of just like visibility. It's like, hey, 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 like I'm just not kind of crawling into this and making sure I feel good. I don't need somebody with a camera recording this moment, this moment of like
Yeah.
what is really vulnerability. I mean, to your point, I won't speak for everybody, but to your point, it's a lot easier for me to dance when the lights are low because
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It just for some reason, it gives me this perception of invisibility when the lights are low. I'm like, nobody's looking at me. It's too dark. Right.
Yes.
And you take that safety away. I mean, it's a little jarring. So what people are doing are a little vulnerable too. Like it's 10 in the morning, it's broad daylight. Like it's pretty brave, I think. So you are a Gen Zer. Do you like these morning DJ sets?
I don't think they're for me, but I respect it. First of all, I actually do like waking up and having a sort of morning routine, but I do not necessarily enjoy having to be around so many people. It kind of feels a little bit like a darty, like a college darty, which maybe I've,
What is that?
but it's like a day party when people
Oh,
like tailgate before a game or something. And it's like,
listen, you are okay. Look, I knew that there was going to be a moment on this interview that I was going to be like, "What's that?" Like sounding super boomer. But yeah, you just put me on. Okay, a darty day party. Got it. Make perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. So it gives you that kind of feeling.
yeah. And like, I think I was just always like, yes, I would like to do something, but I just cannot be perceived. But also, I will say, I kind of went to these by myself. And I think if I were to go in a group, like if you made something out of it with your friends, I could definitely see how that would be like an awesome Sunday, sort of like you start here and then you move here and like,
Yeah.
yeah, be an awesome like day out of it.
And are they typically during the weekend or are they during the week too?
I don't think I've encountered any during the week. I feel like
Okay.
everyone's pretty cognizant of like work and stuff.
So that makes it a little bit more doable for me. I'm similar to you. I'm not a morning person, so I do need to ease into the day.
Yeah.
It's really hard, and I don't like to be talked to, and I don't like to be looked at. It's a
No.
whole thing. So I think I'd be able to do it once and just be like, oh, look at this. This is cute, but it sounds fun though. Hey y'all, it's time to make your voice heard. Austin continues to face significant infrastructure challenges like aging facilities, growing service demands, and affordability pressures. To organize and prioritize, representatives across city departments scored hundreds of individual project requests using criteria like timeliness and readiness, critical need, and efficiency. And then through a structured and collaborative review process, city staff refined this need assessment into their 2026 bond initial draft recommendation list. Y'all, this list totals $700 million. And then on January 21st, that list was submitted to mayor and council. So what does this mean for you? Community members are invited to a series of open house meetings to learn about proposed bond projects and share feedback that will help ensure these investments reflect Austin's most pressing infrastructure needs and community priorities. So RSVP and learn more at austintexas.gov/bond2026. Imagine this, your next podcast recorded in the same studio where you're hearing this right now. That's Trick Hat Workway. Trick Hat is Austin's most hospitality-driven co-working space. And yes, they've got a pro-level podcast studio designed for creators, teams, and businesses who want high-quality recordings without the stress of hunting down space or gear. Just show up, plug in, and hit record. Outside the studio, Trick Hat's got you covered. From private offices to dedicated desks, they offer flexible co-working options to fit any business or entrepreneur's needs. And can we talk about the perks? Freshly brewed coffee from Manana, endless snacks, and crispy Diet Cokes. But what really makes Trick Hat different is the energy. From weekly networking opportunities to community trick chats, it's more than a place to work. It's where Austin comes to connect, create, and have fun doing it. Whether you're producing your next big idea or just need a space that feels good to work in, Trick Hat Workway is waiting for you, where it's always old Austin, new tricks. Visit trickhatworkway.com to learn more today. Hey y'all, by now you've probably heard me raving about Window Nation. I've told you about the 1,500 styles and colors, their measuring process for the perfect fit, the lightning quick installation, and the lifetime warranty. But I haven't told you about what others are saying about them. They have over 45,000 five-star reviews. They have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They have a 96% customer satisfaction rating, and Window Nation was recently ranked highest on Forbes' list of best window installation companies. With a track record like that, you can be sure you're getting high-quality, affordable windows. And I have to mention, you can get them with 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. Plus, Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows free sale is still going on right now. And if that's not enough, if you act now, you can get an extra 10% off for Valentine's Day. So go ahead, schedule a fast free estimate now at windownation.com. The trend is also getting bigger at the same time as another Gen Z trend, and that's people are not drinking. Y'all aren't drinking that much alcohol. Austin American Statesman has reported that across the city, alcohol sales have been declining every year since 2022 in restaurants, hotels, and entertainment venues. So do you think there's a correlation there?
Definitely. I feel like a lot of people I spoke to were like, we really enjoy that these events are sort of similar to what you'd expect at night, but they are more like sober focused. So it sort of takes that pressure away and allows you to like engage in like that aspect of going out and not have to have like the pressure of drinking. But at the same time, I think I did talk to a lot of people who like they were able to drink, but also feel like less anxiety because you don't do it at night and it's like during the day, and then you can go and take a nap, and then you still have your whole afternoon free for like whatever else you want to do that day, and it sort of still allows you to like go out with your friends and have fun.
I forget about the anxiety. Yes, I love drinking during the day, especially on the weekends, because like to your point, by 7 p.m. I'm done. I've done all of the shenanigans I want to do for the day. I can go home. I can have a cup of tea and like, you know what I mean? Like get in bed fairly early if I want to. And so I'm curious about the data is there about Gen Z drinking less, but I also think that in general, people are drinking less in totality.
Yeah.
But as far as Gen Z is concerned specifically, like I think you brought this up earlier, you guys are a lot more mindful of your health, I feel like, than other generations. And I think that maybe that comes into it as well. So what do you, from your point of view, like, is drinking tied up in the way you view your health? Like, what do you think your generation's focus on health is about? Where does it stem from? Where does it come from? Could it have something to do with leftover from the pandemic? What is it for you?
I think there are a lot of factors. One, I do think that people are more aware of sort of the harmful effects of everything from our like food to drinking, and there is this health focus that I do think is tied to the pandemic and wanting to make sure that you are like not putting in so many bad things into your body.
Right.
I'm also thinking of like a lot of people are becoming more aware of like microplastics, and they're like trying to focus on things that will like be cleaner and like less terrible. And I think that alcohol is just like a natural extension. But I also think like the health focus is partly fueled by social media. You know, you have gym influencers and you have this curation of like living a healthy lifestyle. And I think that there's also all of that as a component. And I do think that when it comes to drinking and going out, I think that people are afraid to make a fool of themselves. And I think that there's also this fear to take risks and a fear of putting yourself out there and being messy. And I think it's also like tied to having to stay in for a couple of years and live your life online, and you're just so afraid of being perceived by others. What you do will be put online, like what you do will be sort of like everlasting almost, because it has the potential to to be like memorialized, I guess,
Oh,
by the
yeah.
internet. And so I
Yeah.
think that there's like this fear on multiple ends of like, okay, well, everything causes cancer or illness and everything is scary outside. And so now everyone's internalized that almost and is like working on like the betterment of themselves.
Listen, I mean, I have to say 100% that's completely valid. You know what I mean? As someone that when I was 20, there's nobody with cameras watching what I did. There's no one with a phone to take to just like record every stupid, ridiculous thing I did at 20. There was no one there to do that. It really, really was a privilege to just exist in a world without a constant gaze, right? And so I
Yeah.
can't even imagine what that is like to just have this constant awareness of gaze. Like 2 weeks ago, I'm walking around in the store in New Orleans and I saw that they were filming content and I was trying so hard to keep my ass out of their, like I was just trying, I was ducking and dodging and trying to stay out of their field of view because I was like, I don't want anybody seeing me on the internet shopping with my raggedy clothes on. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Nope, didn't work. Looked, looked like popped up on my feed. Oh, there I am in the background of
Oh,
someone's social media post. So it's like, you're right. I get it. I get it. This like constant gaze of social media and phones has to be really daunting. And it makes sense that it would dictate, not dictate, but it makes sense that it would influence how you show up and how you move through the world. You brought this up earlier, so now I'm I'm really curious about this. You reported that Gen Zers are looking for ways to overcome the loneliness epidemic, and it hit you harder after COVID-19. And so I want you to talk a little bit more about what it was like to be a Gen Zer in 2020 and then coming out of that. It's like I forget about this until I talk to someone that's a Gen Zer that, for years you couldn't leave the house. And then, surprise, okay, it's over. Now you're expected to just like act like nothing happened and be able to make friends and go out and be into the world. So that's got to be jarring and, destabilizing. But I don't know. What was it? maybe I'm over dramatic. What was it like?
Yeah. I can only speak for myself and the fact that maybe I have some extra struggles with making friends and finding friends. But I think that what I've experienced is that there's just sort of this like, it's really hard to just make friends out in the world without having a structured social activity with repetition with which that you can like meet people in.
Right.
Like, I romanticize the idea of I'm in a clothing store and all of a sudden I see someone with a cute shirt and we strike a friendship and then we're like really close, or I go to the movies and I meet somebody, but it's not like so people are not so open that way. And I think the friends I met before the pandemic, I kept close contact with during the pandemic, and then all of a sudden as soon as we were out, it was like, oh no, I don't really know where to meet people.
Mm.
There's also this sort of expectation, when you're making a friend, you act differently than when you have a long-term friend. And so building that relationship too was sort of, I think, a lost art among people,
Yeah.
like putting that time and care and also like time and care into building a community. And
Yeah.
sometimes we all take that for granted. It's simple as like picking someone up from the airport or offering very low stakes things. And I personally felt like that's something I've had to relearn, especially after I left college and I was no longer close walking distance to my community. I had to sort of learn how to make friends and start off slowly.
Yeah. I think, I don't know if this will be helpful or validating or not, but I think it's hard to make friends, period. I will say I'm an extroverted extrovert. And so for me, and
Mhm.
I don't have a lot of shame or, you know what I mean? It's like, it's hard to embarrass me. So for me, You know what I mean? Like, or maybe a handful of other people that I know. I'm just like, hey, friend, hey, how's it going? But we are
Yeah.
not the majority. We are the minorities. A lot of my friends are my friends because they are the introvert. And I just waddled over to them like, hey, friend, I like your shirt. Or, you know what I mean? So to your point about meeting in the store, like I can't tell you how many times I've just seen someone in the store. I've been like, your style is off the charts. And then next thing I know, we're buds. But, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard because I think you're right on the money. I don't think that people are as
Like open or like,
open. Yes. I
yes.
don't think that people are as open as they used to be, for sure, with good reason. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
with good reason. Think the world is crazy. So I think about my niece. She's 25.
Yes.
And she's also like, she has a community of like 4 friends. Like, and she has been friends with these girls since she was in like high school. But when it comes to making new friends, if she's just like,
Yes.
it feels too hard, is what she said. She's just like, we got to learn all this stuff about each other. I got to like be this one person. And then I got to figure out when they can see the real me. And I'm like, oh my God, that's got to be exhausting. I get it. Like,
Yeah.
but, if you can do it anywhere, you can do it in Austin. I do feel like that. I do feel like this city is more open and nicer than others. So I'm curious what you think, because, I'm calling this a trend, but it kind of seems like something that was born out of necessity. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so we create these things so that we can create community, right? So it feels like more than a trend to me, it feels like, oh yeah, this was a necessity and it was figured out. So can you predict what you think the next, necessary social trend would be for Gen Z, do you think?
That's a really good question. I think we're maybe even in the middle of like a dating epidemic. And I think it's just as important to have friends as it is partners.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there is maybe even an untapped market for creating dating focused events. And
Yeah.
those are starting to pop up, like um, speed dating, but at the same time, very community oriented speed dating.
Yeah.
And again, like curated socializing. There's social clubs for games, there's social clubs for fitness, for movies, practically any hobby. So it's hard to say like what's next. Like maybe
Yeah.
I think leaning into spontaneity would be awesome, but that's almost the opposite of planning for something. But yeah, I would say like I think I can see people right now, are always complaining about the apps and whatnot. And so I feel like
Hmm.
that may be something people look to next about like how do we connect people in that way.
I bet you're right on the money. You said this earlier, and I agree, but it's like you guys had to learn. It's like you were taken away from the ability to be social for a really long time, then just thrown back into society. And so it makes sense that socially there's a little relearning, like you said, like you have to relearn. But at the same time, Gen Z is just like ferocious when it comes to other things. Like like protesting, like politics, making change.
Yes.
Which is kind of my favorite thing about this generation is that you're so fierce and ferocious about other things, and then other things you're like, I don't know. It's so yeah. It makes me really excited to see how you grow and progress. Because all of this awareness that you have, I believe, is going to manifest in crazy ways as you get older. And so I'm curious, what do you think the Gen Z community will look like in like 10 years when you're all in your 30s?
I really wonder about that because at the same time, Gen Z is such a nostalgic generation. And I think about this a lot. Like, I'm like, what does it look like for Gen Z to come up with something new? And so for those reasons, it's really hard for me to know what like will look like in 10 years. I like to think that most Gen Z people, like, they're very averse to the idea of raising an iPad baby. So I would say as parents,
Mm.
I sort of imagine almost like Luddite philosophy of like, we don't want our kids to have phones. We don't want them to be exposed to these
Oh, I
kinds of things.
love this. I love
Um,
this.
but not everyone, maybe the ones who've had more negative experiences. But at the same time, you have all these people who've built their lives off of influencing and social media as money. However, I do
Mm.
think we're starting to see a pullback from the brand side of like, how much can we like pay people? And so I don't know if that's necessarily sustainable, but I'd like to see us become normal when it like comes to socializing. And I think as Gen Alpha becomes more of a part of society, hopefully they'll be helpful in like reintegrating people in that way. But yeah,
Yeah.
to your point, I feel like I do see Gen Z as being very like socially, politically involved and hopefully continues to be interested in those sorts of things. And I hope that like in 10 years, this reaction to um the weirdness of socializing post pandemic will kind of have normalized as people are able to like form more groups because of work. You know, we're all like coming back to the office. So I think that's
Yeah.
helping in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And like, as hopefully maybe more third spaces arise in society, there's more ways for people to relearn like how their parents kind of like socialized and integrate that into this like new weird reality that we have.
Mayor, this has been just a fucking treat. This has been
Oh my
great.
god,
Thank you so
yay.
much for coming on and chatting with me. And I'm really looking forward to this retail scenario where you chat somebody up and get a bud out of it, and then you have. I love this for you. I want this to happen for you.
Thank you.
Okay, till next time. Before we go, here's a little midweek mood boost for you. The Wishbone Bridge at Longhorn Dam is finally open. The $25 million project connects the east and southeast segments of the Lady Bird Lake Trail, allowing pedestrians and cyclists to complete the full 10-mile loop without leaving the waterfront, and also carrying trail users safely across the Pleasant Valley Road area. Y'all, this bridge features two gently curved bridge legs measuring 230 feet, and then they meet at a 76-foot wide central plaza that creates a shared gathering space rather than those narrow pass-through spaces. So it allows people to stop, rest, and enjoy views of the lake without disrupting trail traffic. There's also a 130-foot long mural-lined tunnel along the South Pleasant Valley Road called Unity Underpass, and it features artwork and mosaics from 200 Austinites. Plus, there's 14 sculptural maraca benches available for community sponsorship. I cannot wait to see it. Make sure y'all get out there and take advantage. That's all for today here on CityCast Austin. You can find links to Mayhair's story in our show notes. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friend that likes raves or coffee shops? Rate the show, leave us a review, and of course, subscribe to our CityCast Austin newsletter. And if you really love us and you want to support us, or maybe you want to come to our cute little event tomorrow, become our neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye, y'all.